Hi, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dawg, and another exciting broadcast. Today, we're going to be talking to the people from the Velocity Automotive Company. And we got some special guests with us today. Let's start out. Let's go down to Texas with Johnny Cantrell. Johnny, where are you from?
Hey, Jim. Thanks for having me on. So, originally from Sherman, Texas, but I'm calling you or dialing today from Grapevine, Texas. Texas,
Been
Nissan
there.
Grapevine.
Been there.
Have you?
So you're the general manager of Nissan store in Grapevine, Texas?
Yes, sir. Texas Nissan of Grapevine. Been here since September of 2009.
Fantastic. And I got a duo here, Jeremie Leach and Chuck Bryant. Where are you guys from?
Yeah, so thanks for having us on. It's a pleasure. I'm originally spent 39 years up in Detroit, Michigan, and somehow ended up in the South. So I'm over here in Destin, Paradise, Florida. Happen to be right in the backyard of Velocity Automotive. So our organization's done the Florida Panhandle and represented over in Alabama and into the Savannah market in Georgia. So looking to expand, looking to grow, looking to double in size over the next 3 years. So I'm the sales director for all the 16 stores, and this is Chuck Bryant.
Hello, Chuck.
Hey, Jim. It's great to be on. I'm actually the used car director for the group, and spent 40 years in a little town in North Carolina called Hickory. They like to mess with me because I'm so fond of Hickory, North Carolina. So
actually been there.
Yeah, it's a great place. Tell them you got to let them know because they don't understand.
Must have bought furniture.
Yeah.
Jeremie, both the signposts on the same stick.
Yeah, one stop block. Yeah, there's one stop block there. A couple car dealerships. Thank the good Lord. So I come down from Hickory, North Carolina, to Florida to join Step One Automotive. So a pleasure to be here. Appreciate you having us on.
Step One, and from Velocity Automotive themselves, I've got Kalah McCoy and Hugh Hathcock. Hi, guys.
Hey,
how's it going?
Thanks for having us, Jim.
Okay, well, let's start out telling the audience, what is Velocity Automotive? I'm going to have to ask Kalah and Gage before we get into the testimony from Johnny and Chuck. Tell me about it.
Well, I'll kind of start out here. For those of you that maybe know us and know our past, I do want to catch you up there. We used to own E-Lead, sold that a few years back. And, we started with a reconditioning company, Recon Velocity. And that's what we started with a few years ago. But we've really since then morphed into so much more and added additional products that really, help our dealers all the way from acquisition to recon to retail to give them, a better way to buy the inventory, more accurate lookouts, better reconditioning processes to speed that up and sell that car faster. And then products such as Velocity Engage and things we're going to go into to help the dealer then sell that car faster. So really, if I kind of sum it all up, we're a company that just really provides intel to our dealerships that helps them with the buying and selling and reconditioning process to speed everything up by being transparent with all the information that's needed there. So through window stickers, through Velocity Engage digital portfolios, and through a reconditioning software to speed all of that up.
Yeah, the car business is extremely competitive business. I've been kicking around 48 years, and right now we can sell almost every car we can get for almost anything we ask, but that's going to end. This isn't going to be forever. And selling cars is communicating with the consumers. Selling cars is justifying the price, justifying what you're selling for. Johnny, tell me about how you use the Velocity products.
So we use it in several different ways, right? I tell you how I stumbled across it is that you're able to provide MSRPs, original MSRPs on pre-owned cars, right? And as you know, Chuck, being the used car director, how important is it to know what you're trading for, right? The other thing, as you spoke about too, is that a lot of our transactions most of them start online, right? So if you're trying to, give the information to the consumer that they so desperately want, right? This is, as you said, Jim, justification. How strong is that to be able to send MSRP, right? They already don't believe us when they're talking to us and communicating with us, right? So
they don't believe you. And when we're talking about justifying with the original original manufacturer MSRP, decoding the VIN. I mean, how much credibility does this give your sales representative?
Well, not only credibility, I tell you what it does for us that I think is the most important. It gives them confidence, right? Most people, salespeople, most people don't really get into conversations or feel confident about things unless they know a lot about it, right? So it automatically gives instant credibility to our salespeople when they can shoot that MSRP back, right? Consumer gets it back via email or via text. They can look at that information. It just opens up the conversation. I also think it kind of gives the customer just a deep breath and that, hey, this guy's being upfront and honest with me. And I think it just really gives our guys confidence and really starts that conversation. So,
and they can see it physically on the vehicle as well, true?
correct. So online though, it's a digital brochure, and I'm sure we'll get into those other things that are on there.
Oh, we're headed there. Yes, we are.
Oh, but again, to your point, right? It's that piece that, I think a lot of times we start negotiating online, and with the customer that's not here, how many of those negotiations are you going to win? Zero, right? So if you're in control of the conversation, if you're providing good data, good information to the consumer, it puts you in the driver's seat, and then we can do what we try to do, right? Get them to the store where all the magic happens, right? And we can sell the sizzle. But it does several things. But the MSRP is, man, I tell you, it's a great tool. Also, when they're shopping, Nissan stores were about every 8 miles, okay? And before the chip shortage, a Nissan deal was a knife fight. It just was. How much are you willing to lose, right? But exactly. So it's changed up a little bit. So if I need to know what the dealer down the street had, their software will also show what they have. So if the consumer's looking at a 2018...
Wait. The software will also show what your competitor has?
Hey, even better, Jim, I don't have to call the competitor and get them to admit it. I can just simply go on their website, use their tool, and it prints out the MSRP. How cool is that? The other dealer never knows. How strong is that?
You printed out the other dealer's MSRP?
Absolutely. So if I've got
side by side.
Correct. If they're looking at an Altima, 2018 Altima down the street, and it's a S, which is an entry model, and they've got an SV here, right? We print out both MSRPs. Therefore, I can justify my price being $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 higher. And I can also show that S model down the street might not have an equipment or a package that's important to them. Again, but you're showing them.
Let me ask Chuck Bryant a second. Are you experiencing anything similar?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And really for us, Jim, I think back to, 2008. I always use 2008 as a marker because I think that's really when the internet began this revolution and this absolute change in the car business itself. What actually happened at that point was, we started looking for instant gratification. And customers began to look for instant gratification when it comes to pricing, or if whether they're going to go to Home Depot or they're going to go to Lowe's or they're going to shop Amazon. And as this internet revolution kind of came down through our consumer cycle, the car business changed. And when Johnny spoke of validation, that's really all a customer's looking for. And so being able to validate a lot of those things, our pricing, our mileage, what our actual competitors are. A car that has leather is not a car that has cloth. A car that has a sunroof is different from a car that doesn't have one. So as the customer's looking for that validation, they validate us as the dealer as to whether or not we're priced correctly and we're merchandised correctly, as if they give us a shot to earn their business. If we're not validated as a dealer, they're not even calling us. And so, some of the tools from Recon Velocity allow us to make sure as a dealer that we're validated in order for the customer to actually give us a shot at their business. Because we tell our guys in the store all the time, the customer's going to validate whether you're correct on pricing. If they're clicking on your car, there's a really good chance that your pricing is correct. Otherwise, they would never click on it. So those tools are definitely a big help for us when it comes to getting that information we need in front of us. Because really all we're doing is trying to make sure that we appear to the customer the correct way, Jim. That's what we're doing.
Sure.
And that you're the expert and that you can answer all their questions. I mean, this is all happening before the customer ever even shows up. So if they're calling into your store and they know more about the car than you do, or you can answer if it has a third row seat or does it have vents in the back or whatever, the questions might be, then you're really at a disadvantage. So this really helps your people become inventory experts on all makes and models, not just, your Nissans or your Chevrolets or whatever your home brand is.
Hey, something else
Let's
we
be
didn't.
clear. Let's be clear. We're talking about two different companies that act in synergy with each other. So we're talking about Recon Velocity and Velocity, our Engage.
Yeah, so we actually have 3 products.
Oh,
Recon,
really?
Velocity, Engage, and then we also sell our OEM window sticker as a standalone, or it's incorporated with the other products.
I wasn't aware of that. I've been studying the product and I wasn't aware. So the window sticker.
Yeah, it's only been a couple months now that we've been selling it as standalone, but it's something that, no matter what your recon process or no matter what your merchandising process is, everybody can take advantage of the OEM window stickers. So it's really been able to kind of open the door for Velocity to get into more stores to then show them the other tools that might not be as flashy or might be more process oriented or what have you. We can get into some of those, but it makes, the window stickers make a huge difference to your consumer online, but also to your selling process and to your salespeople and how they present that inventory and how they answer those questions.
Let me ask you a question, and I probably know the answer. How realistic does that window sticker look?
Very.
Oh, yeah, just like it came from the OEM.
It's the window sticker.
The users.
It's the window sticker.
It's the window sticker. It's the real deal.
So
Yeah, it's a little bit different from the one sometimes you get from MaroneyLabels.com, because sometimes it looks more generic to where these are more factory window stickers. The biggest thing for me, if I may, is there's a lot of conversation right now about when we have the customer in our grips and we have the customer in our showrooms. I think to me, velocity, the term velocity really means one thing in terms of economics, how fast money travels through the economy, right? And gets back into our hands. That's really what we're talking about. So when we go and we buy cars, trade for cars, the biggest thing for me is getting the cars through the process quickly, efficiently, so that we can get them online quick, telling the compelling story we need to get as much gross as we can, because we know time kills gross, time kills everything. And one thing that people don't take into cost very often is they get so fixated on gross profit and they lose track of the holding costs or the boarding cost over time. And what we've been able to do with Velocity was very customizable. It helps to work 9 miles away, but we've been able to come here and work real closely with these guys and help tailor their stuff to the automotive guys, and especially for our group, so we've got a unique situation where we've got 9 stores in the Florida Panhandle, but we've got 2 Recon centers. So why we have 2 Recon centers is because we're taking all of our reconditioning to the Recon centers to free up customer pay and shop capacity to help more, get more fixed operations going in CSI. And CSI is killing people because we don't have capacity, because we're growing at such a rapid rate. It's a great problem. How do we fix that? So when we're buying cars at the auction, we built a tool, a piece of inside the Recon tool to track logistics. How long is it taking a car to get from the auction to here? Because speed. We need to figure out where our trip falls are and how to increase the speed. Once they get there, we create the plan to either go to the Recon Center. If it's a CPO, it's going to stay at door. Or if the Recon Centers are capacity, we have a plan called Keep It Home, to where we know the store's going to stay, the vehicle's going to stay at the store because we're at capacity in the Recon Centers. So it's allowed us a lot. We were doing 14 days, 14, 15 days average Recon. We're down to 5.25 right now. So it's incredible. And again, it's all about, you can't just have a Recon tool and say, hey, it's going to work.
Can you do better?
What's that?
Can you do better?
Absolutely. I think we can get down to 3 days.
When I was in the retail end of the business, that was the biggest thing that lost profitability on the trade-in, is that the used car manager would give that car a sunbath for 2 weeks. And, but the other thing that you pointed out a second ago, Jeremie, that I think is real important to the audience, is that when you're buying a car at the auction, if you misinterpret that model and you don't decode the VIN correctly, look at Chuck shaking his head over there. If you don't decode the VIN correctly, how many thousands of dollars can you lose, Chuck?
Well, here's the thing, right? What's a BMW without a cold pack? You know, I mean, how many people are searching online for a BMW that doesn't have heated seats? I mean, you got to know your audience. So, you know, you buy a BMW and you don't know what every little stitch of that VIN number means. And hey, it's happened to me, right? You only learn from your mistakes. We don't want a whole lot of
You
success.
can get totally mesmerized by Carvana and CarMax standing up there till their arms cramp.
Yep.
Johnny, is that part of your experience?
Absolutely. Hey, we didn't talk about this, right? And I'm sure Chuck knows firsthand. Your biggest grossing deals are on your fresh trades, right? And in this day and age, your salespeople are so dependent on it being online. Well, we have Save a Deal every day. What if the deal doesn't build, right? Then you don't know that car exists. And if you're a salesperson, what better customer to come in? He wants a 2020X that you just traded for. That's not online, losing 2K, right? Yeah, no, exactly. And it's fresh. And hey, salespeople are smart. They know that we own the fresher stuff, you know, a little bit better. But again, the program doesn't fix it all for you. You still have to manage it, right? As Jeremie said, but it just gives you an extra tool knowing where your things are at. The biggest thing about used car to me anyway is your inventory management. It is key. Buying cars from auction. Chuck, I'm sure you guys experience it. We buy from Manheim. We buy from Alliance. Sometimes the cars don't get here, right? And you're calling, 3 days have gone by, and that car's depreciated $150 a day, right?
Yeah.
The Recon Velocity helps you with that, helps you hold your used car directors accountable. And like I said, like Jeremie said, man, time is money, right?
The trucker took a long weekend.
Well, we only laugh because it's true, right? Like you said, it takes a sunbath for 2 weeks. You know, we laugh because, you know, it's true, right? You know, that's why you have Trade Walk. You got guys that traded for a car that's still sitting at someone's house, right? It just, you know, it makes everybody pay attention. And as we know, you know, what you focus on, you're going to improve, right? So big part of our operation here in Texas.
Yeah, and the other thing to add to this is, you know, when you are putting a car through the Recon, the quickest thing to get the car online, telling that story about that car with photos, quicker you are to the market, the faster you're going to get inventory. And the ability that Velocity Automotive has given us is we use Viato, just like probably most people do. I literally click on a VIN number inside of Viato, have my window sticker. I don't have to go anywhere. I can do it on my mobile app.
Wait a second. You ever see the movie Home Alone? You know, I mean, you know, you're blowing my mind here. You can go into Viato and click a window sticker, a VIN number, and it prints a window sticker.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Hey,
you can go into. You made that up.
Hey, Jim, I listen now. Don't give him too much credit. Gage is going to call us and up the price. Okay, so relax now.
Well, that's one thing about the Velocity. I have told Hugh Hathcock on occasion, you're selling this thing too cheap. I mean, you know,
we're going for volume.
It's about velocity and volume.
You going for throughput, Gage?
Velocity volume, I think, is going to be our next package.
Velocity volume.
Software and operation.
Yeah. I mean, there's really so much we offer. I mean, we could sit here for hours because there's so much I want to talk about and share. But, you know, I mean, I think one thing I'd like to mention is, if we can real quick, we have kind of went through some rebranding lately. Maybe now's a good time to kind of mention and clear some of this up on who we are and what we offer. And that's really where you started. But, Jim, but it takes a minute for me to register. But we are Velocity Automotive, right? And we've got a few products, and it really starts with Velocity window stickers, being able to take and give you guys as dealers the ability to easily pull all of that original MSRP and option data at the moment you guys start to acquire the car. Like Jeremie had said, right in Viato or whatever, anywhere online that you see a VIN, you know, you can take our tool and use it to pull that information that you need to make sure that you don't miss that trade or make sure that you're in that car the right way and at an auction or wherever. So it starts there. And then it really flows automatically right into our Velocity Recon tool, which we've talked about, and how we can now get that car through the recon process faster so that it remains as profitable as possible, which means we got to sell it quick. But then it goes into our Velocity Engage product, which is more the customer facing side of things that also utilize window stickers and the original MSRP and
Gage, I thought that we'd be talking more about Velocity and Gage, but it seems like the car guys on this broadcast are talking about Recon.
Well, that's where it starts. That's where it starts. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you decide how successful you're going to be. If you sit on a car, listen, Dale Pollock, I had the chance to work with Dale Pollock for many years, and I'm going to tell you, one of the smartest car guys I've ever worked with, and he said one thing: the best inventory manager in any industry is a produce manager. Those, you got to have seasonality, you got to have rate of sale, you got to have them moist, you got to have them clean, you got to pull everything up, and you got to know how long they're going to sit there before they rot. And you have to make a plan. If you don't sell them before they rot, you're calling your bakery and saying, hey, you need some banana bread or banana pudding? I'll sell these for pennies on a dollar. It's all about managing your inventory. Like too many people today say, hey, we're used car managers, we're car guys. I'm going to tell you, that is the worst thing that anyone can call themselves. We are investment bankers. You are managing investments. You're managing a return. Because the last time I've checked, you get a stock that's crap, you dump it. It is what it is. Get it gone. Take my lumps and move on. But if you get a stock that's doing well, you can have a threshold of pain on that thing, have some tolerance. It's all about the day supply of these cars, the desirability of these cars, and what you own these cars for that determines how much patience you can have on these vehicles. And if you're not disciplined in your recon process, you're not disciplined in your merchandising process, and you're not disciplined in your customer-facing process, you're cheating yourself out of millions of dollars.
Jeremy, Lynn Hickey Dodge set the world record in June of '94. I think they sold 2,053 units. And Lynn Hickey demanded that they could turn a car in 72 hours. I mean, we fined the service director if they didn't. So turning a car is absolutely the number one priority, I would think, of the pre-owned director. Chuck?
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was going to say. The reason we probably, as used car directors and sales directors, and, Johnny that's on the screen here, we, even as general managers, we spend so much time talking about the recon part and the recon piece of this tool because that's our biggest pain point, right? So once the car gets to the front line and the engage piece that faces the customer, it's great.
But that's not the sexy part of the program. It really isn't. I mean, the window stickers, the brochures, and most people miss the fact that the money is in the recon end of this program.
Absolutely.
The engage piece is more, once you've done the work to get the customer to engage with you, let's go back to the term engage. You're using that to, instead of negotiate, using this to using documentation to defend your stance in the market, to manage your transactional discounts to be more profitable. That's really what it's doing. It's building that confidence that Johnny talked about. You present this here, customers probably see the same information you're presenting them, but you're showing them the same information they've already seen. So now they say, okay, these guys are being forthright and let's do some business.
Hey, and it's easy, right? So in my sales meetings, I always share with my guys, I ask them, how many iTunes songs do you have on your phone? And you hear from 500 to 5,000, right? How easy is it to download a song on your phone? It's 2 clicks. If it was 20 clicks and you had to call somebody, right? I've got 1,700 songs on my phone. If it took 5 minutes to do, I'd probably have 10, right? You can send that information, email or text. So all those things you're asking your salespeople to do, you're just setting it up, right? So they can do it. You're not having to have a 20-minute conversation about, listen, Pete, you got to get in here, you got to do this, you got to find that. It's already done for them. You've baked it. They just got to send it out, right?
Right.
And that's it.
Johnny, 48 years ago when I got in the car business, we were selling Datsuns, not Nissans. Picture. And I'm seriously. And it was an evidence manual. It was, articles out of newspapers, articles out of magazines, things about myself. Hey, look, I'm an Eagle Scout, whatever.
But that took hard work on your part, right? It took a lot of time to do that. And most guys didn't do that, right?
Low tech.
This is done for them.
My God, look at this is the modern day evidence manual that gives the customer credibility, believability, they've got a vision of who they think the salesperson is. And even if there's no salesperson present, we've got the window sticker that resembles the original factory sticker. I mean, how much more credibility can you get than that? Chuck, how's that working out for you?
Well, the window sticker is awesome. I mean, I'll tell you, my favorite customer-facing part of it is actually the information packet that gives them the service ticket. Because here's the thing. We all beat our chest about being the best when it comes to servicing cars, and we service our cars, and we make sure we're not going to put you in a car that our mother wouldn't drive or that we wouldn't put our daughter in. But one of my favorite pieces is, once we do get that car serviced in whatever time frame it is that the customer has the ability, and I don't know if you're aware of this, but for us, this is my favorite piece. The customer can actually one click of a button and see our service team. So they can see that when step one says that we recondition our cars better than anybody else, they can actually
see the whole process. And can they see how much you spent on it?
They sure can. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
If you want them to.
So
and the best
you've
part
got
about
options in what you can show
Sure.
the best part about it is if you're $500 higher than the other guy and they see your service ticket, they can justify it in their head. I don't have to do anything in this car. This car's ready to go. They've already done brakes, already done tires. It's ready to go. So great.
them. Carfax.
Customers are looking for information. When they're online shopping especially, what they want is a dealer that's going to be the most transparent. They want to find, do they have the right car? Am I buying from the right dealer? And that's what those portfolios do, is they provide all of this transparent information with the Recon and the window sticker, because it's got these options and we put new tires on it for you. That's why we're the same price or more than this dealer, but it's justified at that point and they trust you. So it just makes all of that automated and easy and quick to give that to every customer.
So think about this: the average customer, and to Gage's point, this is going to blow your mind if you don't already know it. But the average customer spends 17 hours online researching the car that they want to buy. But do you know how many dealerships they visit? 1.6. So if the average customer spends 17 hours researching and they only visit 1.6 dealerships, what happens if you don't have the information on your website that customer's looking for? They're going to find somebody.
That 0.6, that's still under construction.
That's an accounting term, Jim.
I've been trying to figure that out.
Somebody checked into the parking lot.
It's like half a car.
Yeah.
Half a car.
Remember the old half a car?
I'm looking at all the things we do. My gosh.
Well, and one of the best parts about this, and all three of these gentlemen on the podcast today, I think, can attest to this, is that all these ideas and the products that we're delivering and the enhancements to the products that we've delivered all come from people just like them. We sit around, we brainstorm, they call us and say, hey, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? Have you heard of this? And we take that feedback and we try to best apply it in a way, as Johnny was saying, that's easy and automated. There's a lot of great ideas and a lot of technology out there that just doesn't work because it's
not designed by real world people with real world input from real world car people. I mean, my gosh, I mean,
Amen.
That's why we've got people that are actually using the product on the broadcast today. It's not us telling them about our technology, and I can't believe how many frauds, fakers, and has-beens and wannabes are on the internet now.
It's hard to watch.
They've all got these Facebook credentials. They haven't done a damn thing in their life.
I've said it before, but I think it's worth saying again. We've never built a piece of software in our life. Our dealers build it, right? All we're doing is implementing their ideas and what's going to help them, and that's why they're willing to pay for it, and we're willing to build it because it works for them. They build it. We don't. We just implement that.
I have worked with some of the biggest dealers in the general Dallas market, and you're a very competitive market at Grapevine, would you say?
Absolutely. We just had our partners meeting. So, out of our 83 stores, 10 of our stores were #1 net profit stores in the country for their brand, right? So,
Hey, Joe.
Dallas, and hey, Florida's big too. But Dallas, Florida, those are the major leagues of the car market. And, lack of a better term, it's a knife fight. And you have to set yourself apart, right? One thing we didn't talk about as well is that how many of our salespeople don't get a response from a customer in the first 3 or 4 days, right? Then they just give up. They get the new lead, right? Again, the information that's provided.
Oh, wait a minute, that's a management problem.
With Velocity Engage, that doesn't happen very often, right? Again, it gives you that credibility and starts that conversation and, gives us more at bats, which we're able to close more deals and make more money and, be successful, right? We can always be better, though.
The other cool thing about the Engage component is, we all struggle to come up with that little secret sauce that the customers engage with, right? And you can go through, you put all your little widgets on the Engage portal, and you can actually find out what they like. What are customers gravitating to? What messages are they receiving well? And then you say, maybe I emphasize this more often in other platforms as well because people are gravitating this. So it allows you to really pinpoint what's working to the customers. What do they like?
Well, Gage, let me ask you, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, you can go on our website or you can just reach out to us directly. Yeah, we're going to be at NADA. I definitely want to make sure our dealers know about that. So we will be set up, have a big booth at NADA. But go online, just quickly fill out, put your information there so that our team can reach out. We got a team of experts.
What is the website?
So it's velocityautomotive.com.
Very simple.
Velocity
Automotive.
Jim, I just want to say this one thing to the team at Velocity is, I come from a software provider. I was with Viato for many years, and software. We can all go buy software, but it's the person behind the software that's helping you use that software to make you more efficient, make you maximize every opportunity, make you more profitable. And that's what people pay for. That's what people pay big money for softwares. The performance management teams that are helping you utilize the software to make better decisions within your business. And I can tell you, the team at Velocity, anytime there's been something that we've seen or an enhancement or an idea or we need help, they're there. They send somebody there. It helps we're local, but even when they're not, they're on the phone, they're doing go-tos. They are very easy to work with, and they're always there to, hey, let's customize, make it better for you. This isn't what we've done. We're going to try to build it for you because this is something you need. So we want to make sure that we give you what you need because you're our client.
If it's something you need, they'll attempt to build it for you.
Yeah.
Really? So, Hugh Hathcock, when they originated E-Leads, everybody knows the service level that we got from E-Leads. Now, all of a sudden, you're saying that the Velocity companies are giving you that level of service.
Absolutely.
Johnny?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, they almost follow up too much. I gotta leave Gage on read sometimes, man, on text. Following up with me all the time, making sure everything's okay.
I'll tell a quick story. I remember how I got Johnny to respond to me. I sent him an email or a text message, and I said, "Hey, are your guys using our tool to make sure they're booking out your cars and appraising your cars right, and you're not missing trades? You can do it right in Viato." What? I gotta have that, and that's how we got in contact.
That's how we hooked up. Always available. And listen, when things go down or there's an issue at a dealership, right, we're the king of excuses. So we can make excuses, but they've always been responsive. And I've had, knock on wood, very little issues, right, with the software. It's easy. It's simple. It's, it's fun. It's fun to use.
How's your employee buy-in?
Mine's awesome. Mine, my GSM was kind of the one that was wearing me out about it 2 years ago to try to find that Monroney MSRP piece of it, right? But their buy-in's awesome. Anytime they have.
I'm talking about the Recon piece that rats them out when they're not.
Well, yeah. Whenever you take a fresh trade and you make 10 pounds on it, they buy in pretty quick, Jim.
And we send somebody to the store to train it, so we make sure that the buy-in's there. So that's a big difference too. Is that nobody's sending people into stores anymore, especially not in the Recon space, to do this kind of training. So, we've been to both your stores multiple times, and we'll keep going as long as we need to make sure that as you have turnover and processes change, that you've got people available. And I wanted to break it up real quick. The main man just walked in.
Oh, fantastic. Hello, Hugh.
Here he is.
The man himself. We're talking about the Velocity Automotive Company. What would you like to say, Hugh?
Keep going. Start over. All right, let's do it again.
We're having a fantastic conversation. So anyway, the Recon part seems to be more important than the Engage part to the people in the broadcast, although we said earlier that Engage has all the bells and whistles and it's a sexier product.
Well, and I don't know if it's that, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys on the phone with us, I don't know if it's that it's more or less important. I think we've just built it in such a way now that it almost seems like one seamless product, and we keep overlapping because it's right in Viato, it's right in the CRM. It's just all kind of one thing now.
And for so long, it was the one area of the dealership that didn't have any technology around it. People were, spreadsheets and Google Docs and writing it on a whiteboard. So now that we've been out and doing this for 2 years, and there's some familiarity around technology in this process, everybody's waking up to how much of a difference this is making in their stores. And I think maybe that's, some of this excitement and why we keep going back to it is because it's not that they've never had it before.
I'm listening to the people in the broadcast. They're going back and forth as if it's one product. I mean, there's no differentiation. What do you think, Chuck?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you don't have a retail unless you have that back end product that can get you to retail. So, for us, we talk a lot more about the back end product because that's where we live. We live in that product. That's where it starts. You don't make your money on the day you sell a car. You make your money on the day you buy a car. Same way with reconditioning. Where we put all of our attention, it's on the back end. And then what it does on the front end is just validation of all the work that we did. So it is one product.
Now, are you physically going to the auction, Chuck?
Not as much anymore, Jim. I spent, 17 years, the better part of my life traveling to the auction. I do a lot of stuff on simulcast. We do a lot of simulcast. Right. I actually have a team of guys that work for me that buy a lot of our cars that we've trained, and so yeah, I don't get out to the auction quite as much.
Yeah, but you've got employees that do.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so how much of a difference does this product make when you're standing on the auction lane and the cars are coming at you really fast? How much of a difference does it make?
So to give you an idea, we have a war room, Jeremie was just saying, and so our war room is a conference room and it has a bunch of televisions in it, and I have a purchasing team there. And it makes a huge difference.
Looks like the Starship Enterprise, right?
It's very similar. But it makes a huge difference for those guys because as they're looking at that car in the lane, just as if you were standing there, they can pull up the window sticker to that car. They can see the equipment that it has. Because here's the thing, you don't buy certain Porsches without red seat belts. And I know that sounds crazy. If you pull up the window sticker, you'll see whether it has that. You don't buy BMWs without certain equipment. You don't buy Mercedes without. Hey, there's even Chrysler and Kia products that sell better with certain equipment and trim levels. So for them to be
this is making tangible profitability for you. Something you
Absolutely.
Can measure, something you can hold in your hand, something you can show on the doc sheet.
Absolutely.
You're buying quick. You're making sure you're buying fast turning vehicles. That velocity mentality. Buy cars that turn, more throughput.
Velocity mentality, part of the name of the company. But the thing about it is you're buying cars that I've been in an auction situation, especially when you're in video and they're coming at you fast. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to make quick decisions, and you can make the quick wrong decision.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, Chuck's team has never bought a bad car. I promise.
Chuck has never bought a bad car. Johnny, have you ever bought a bad car?
Oh, no, sir. Never bought a car that I didn't know was a 5-speed ever.
And probably
I've never bought a right-hand drive Wrangler. I've never bought one without air conditioning. And here's the other thing, and Johnny can attest to this. We have sold, other than just a few that are still hanging out there, we've sold every car I've ever bought, Jim.
That's right. And never buried up in the trade to get rid of it, right, Chuck?
Hey, no good car guy ever misses a trade, Jim.
Never.
Hey, Chuck, you haven't lost money if it's still on the lot.
That's not.
It's 740 days old, but we're holding on that we're going to make a couple.
A good demo.
I'll tell you, as a general sales manager, I can't tell you how many times a used car director said to me, "Boss, we can sell our way out of that." You ever heard that before, Jeremy?
Oh, too many times.
Boss, we can sell our way out of that. I mean, I have heard that so many times when I was in your shoes. I got to tell you, it's the truth. Gage,
Yep.
what have we not told the people about the product and services of the Velocity companies?
You know, I mean, I think we've kind of been all over the place, but we've touched on really all of it. It's the window stickers from acquisition and appraising things the right way. Because like a lot of them, I think each of them said, you know, it really, that's where the gross is made, is when you acquire the car. So we've touched on that. We've touched on and helping get it through the process faster. We've touched on Engage to make sure that we can sell it faster by having all the information there. We've talked about the integrations because, again, the last thing you guys want as dealers is going to be another tool you got to manage. So it integrates with all the CRMs out there, vAuto, all your inventory management systems. So
You really would never even, actually, if you didn't want to, have to log into our tool at all. You could just access it and use it from all the other tools you just named. So
And if they just want the window stickers, they can buy that as a standalone product.
yeah, they
Factory
can
window
scan a VIN
sticker.
or they can enter a VIN, pull a window sticker. It's all real time. And they can do that from our website or from any of the tools that they're, or like Johnny said, on a competitor's website. Anywhere you see a VIN, you can pull that window sticker.
Before Hugh incepted this company, I was screaming that we needed factory window stickers. Before I even knew that you existed. I mean.
Well, it's a misconception because a lot of dealers really think that they have access to their window stickers. And in many cases, they have access to their franchise. If I'm a Ford dealer, I can get my Ford window stickers, for example, but nothing for my used cars. Or in the case of maybe like a step one, they might have, if they're purchasing or, accessing vAuto for a group, maybe they have to click one place for Mazda window stickers and one place for Chevy window stickers and another place for Nissans. So it's a cumbersome process at best.
If you trade in an off or heaven forbid, buy an off-brand vehicle, I'm in a Ford store and I've got a BMW on the lot.
Well, it's partial information. Like Kalah was saying, they get it from a lot of different places. None of it's complete. There's not a company out there really, to speak of on this call that had them all, right? So we just needed an easy way to get the dealers everything. Our job to the dealer is to consolidate all these places, get all of this data together and make it easy for them to access, because it all comes back to time, like we talked about earlier. So
how much of this is on the dealer's website, Gage? I mean, how much do you actually install on the dealer's website that aids in the buying process?
How much do we install on the dealer's website? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, our Velocity Engage portfolios are to be on the dealer's website, but they can also piece this up and just have certain assets on the website. Maybe they just want to show the window sticker, right? Maybe
how much are you using, Jeremy?
So it's interesting you say that. We actually had a conversation with Gage a little bit to where we were trying to find a way to have the window sticker with equipment packages and options and trying to get away from having the MSRP. The reason being is because of the market adjustments on some of these vehicles. We were running into that issue and then buying used cars at the auction over MSRP. So we're like, So we had to rethink that a little bit. So in a normal time, we'd use it 100% of the time. On vehicles where it warrants it, we'll use it 100% of the time. But there's certain vehicles, Escalades, Broncos, TRXs, things of that nature. You just got to be careful what you get into. The one thing I wanted to add,
I believe that time is coming back. I mean, this is not going to last forever.
It'll come back. The other thing that a lot of people don't know with the window stickers is you got to go in the back of Car Gurus and book out your cars individually to make sure you have the right options and equipment. Otherwise, you could be comparing your 2LT V6 leather Malibu with an LS Malibu with steel wheels rental rocket. But Car Guru doesn't know that because it doesn't classify it. So you click right on the VIN number in your Car Guru listing, you got your window sticker, you book your car out correctly. And then most people are saying, hey, I need to slide my car $1,500, $1,800 to get it to a good deal from a fair deal. When the reality is, if you book your car out correctly, having access to the window sticker, you click the options, the right equipment, It slides your deal rating to a good deal. You didn't have to touch the price at all. Now you're relevant in the market. So another added value that's quick.
Yeah, me and Jeremy have had a lot of conversation, and it's been, hey, I need it available here. I need it available here, because there's several different places this is going to help with that buying and merchandising part of their process. So that's been a huge part of it. But to kind of finish out that thought or question on the putting it on the website, what's there, it's up to the dealer. Jeremy and his team and Johnny and those guys, you decide, do you want to show the sticker? Do you not? Do you want to show cost? Do you not? Do you want to show recon information? Do you want to show cost? Do you not? I mean, it's completely customizable.
But whatever is put on the website is completely tracked with heat mapping through our system. They get automatic price change alert notifications to their cell phones. The
Wait a second, slow down. Itemize that again. Do it again. Say it again. That hasn't even been covered in this company.
Yeah, so the reporting side of this and feeding this information back to the dealership, anything that you decide to put on your website is all put in our heat mapping reporting. So I can see that Johnny went on and pictures were most important to him. And then secondly, most important were those service records. And he spent 3 minutes reviewing those before moving on to spending, 2 minutes on the window sticker or whatever the time frame is.
You can track their path through the buying process on the website.
Right. And the other side of that is that we can send that back to your Google Analytics account. So if this is something that you're tracking, through your marketing people or maybe at a group level and you want to be able to see that report go into Google, we do that as well. So that's something that, we can offer that I don't believe anybody else is sending back to Google. So that's really important and has been a common request that we now have out and live and that in addition to corporate reporting. So everything that's done at a individual store level rolls up to the group any way they want to slice it and look at it.
Johnny, how much of this are you using?
We use all of it.
You just threw that out there really quick. Are you honestly using all of it?
Honestly, for sure. Yeah, I'll have her pull up my heat map of where I'm at. She can.
But are your people using it?
Absolutely. We also hold them accountable, Jim, like everything else, right? We make sure they're using it. We monitor what they're sending out. But how awesome is the heat map? I mean, you're basically getting what's hot to that customer, right? Just like when you were selling cars in the 80s and 90s. The guy's talking about his trade. You over-allow on his trade, right? This gives you what's hot to that customer. And one thing we didn't talk about, I started selling cars, right? Nobody taught me. My first management job was an F&I. My second job was used car manager, right? Who teaches you about Recon? Nobody teaches you about Recon.
No.
All of a sudden, and then your first 6 months as a used car director, you try to, get them down to $500. Then your GM comes in and says, hey, listen, buddy, I keep 65 cents on the dollar. You're going to spend $1,500 a car. My point is, we're not taught about Recon, right? So especially a new used car director, it's a big piece for him, right? Speeds up that process where you make a lot of mistakes, right, Chuck?
My God. I learned used cars from an old used car manager with a smushed in face named John Dallas. We used to call him Cabbage Patch because look, our Cabbage Patch doll.
Yeah, but did he teach you about Recon? Did he teach you about Recon?
Recon. I mean, it was a different world.
Right.
I learned more about Recon from Lynn Hickey at Lynn Hickey Dodge when he was rocking and rolling back in the 90s. And then I learned when I was actively in the business.
Well, hey, just listen. We all know used cars is probably the most important piece of your dealership. And I'll sum it up with this.
Biggest opportunity for loss.
Well, for sure, right? But here's the deal. I've been doing this for 28 years. I've met 100 good new car sales managers. You know how many elite used car salespeople I've met or had work for me? 8 to 10. I'm being serious. So who needs more help? The new car manager or the used car manager, right? But it's a different animal, right? It's just used cars is where it's at. It's also the toughest deal. So therefore you need the most help.
For 20 years, you've seen the evolution.
Absolutely.
We've seen so many paradigm changes. And
I mean,
I would think in the process.
I think a really good used car director, which would be like, as we mentioned, 1 out of 100, that's really passionate about his job. He would go back to service or have the Recon guy bring him the ROs. and he would load them up and he would text them to a customer, but that's 1 out of 100. What Velocity engages is gives the opportunity for all, my employees to be that guy. It's one click, right? It's view brochure on the website, and it's already done for you. Just like your evidence manual, Jim.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
everybody did one, right? Back then.
No.
Did everybody do one?
That's why I'm Jim Ziegler. I mean, it never happened.
If everybody did one, there'd be 1,000 podcasts today, right?
Exactly.
Doing what you're doing, but they're not. So
No.
it kind of makes somebody that may be below average. It takes your average people above average, and it makes your above average people almost superstars, right?
All humor aside, we're talking
By way of
about
accountability.
Best practices, as Jeremie just said, accountability. Jeremie, how much of this are your people using and not using?
So the Recon piece, every store, every Recon center, we have dispatch people. They use the Recon tool. We have a guy specifically dedicated to oversee and manage the Recon platform. He's Gage's best friend. He does not drive Gage nuts at all.
I hope he's not on the podcast.
He'll call you after.
Yeah.
The window stickers, I can tell you, everybody eats the window stickers up. Everybody uses the window stickers. Now our BDC and our sales managers, we recently rolled out in a couple of our flagship stores. So we're just getting that up and going, but they love it already. The reviews from the people are great.
I'm hearing 16 stores, right?
Yes, sir.
16
Yes, sir. So-
stores. Now, how much pushback are you getting? Any at all?
I don't allow for pushback.
About
I really don't. This is the way we do business. This is the step one way, and you're either part of the step one way or you're out of the way because we believe this is the way going into the future. You got to constantly evolve. Again, I came from V-Auto, so I had 135 pounds, so I've seen some of the good, bad, and the ugly. And some of these, like Johnny was saying, I can tell you, I don't know how many good used car managers I come across. Some of these, we used to call them knuckle dragging Neanderthals because they were stuck in the 1880s, And the reality is, guys, there's two elements of extinction, identifying change and adapting to change. If you don't identify it, you're going to die. If you do identify it and you don't adapt, you're going to die. So we know this business is evolving, and you got partners like this on the other end that are helping you, that are willing to get you to the future. You got to use these tools. And again, it's not just the software, it's accountability. It's everybody using the tools. It's the training, the constant training, buy-in, the support from these guys. And, you can disrupt the market.
I'm seeing some of the best managers in the country, and I bet you we can come up with another 20 that are clients of Velocity. Think about it. These are real people using it in the real world. And you guys are going to be at NADA. Kalah, tell me about your NADA. Where are you going to be? What's your booth?
Yeah, we're so excited. We have a big booth, bigger than last year. We're going to have a lot of people there. We've gone through a whole rebranding, so everything's going to look, shiny and new and reflect the new products we've been talking about.
I heard it's bigger than Cox Automotive.
Not quite up there. We're not the village yet.
Which one?
Pretty big booth.
Hathcock's Automotive.
Yeah. And we're going to be booth number 2713W. We've got a pretty good space. You won't be able to miss us. The red and the black and a bunch of LED everywhere. But definitely, give us a call. We'd love to set up an appointment before we get there or see you at the show. We'll be having some show specials. But one thing I wanted to point out that you'll hear at the show as well.
What is that number to call?
The phone number is 850-353-1161, or you can go to velocityautomotive.com. And the booth number for NADA again is 2713W.
Is that right?
Yeah, you got it. That's right.
Then call that number, make an appointment at the booth.
Yeah, absolutely. And all these tools, are really affordable. We don't do any contracts. We want to be the easiest company to do business with in the automotive space. So, again, these guys can attest to it. Everything's fair. We don't lock you into anything. If you don't use it, move on to the next. But we want to support you and do everything that we can and make it really easy to do business.
I'll tell you, I have heard nothing but glowing reports about this company from the people that are using it in the real world with real customers and real dealerships. It's phenomenal. the Engage product and the Recon product. They work together. What have we not discussed, Jeremie, that is an important subject to get out here before we close the broadcast?
I just think that, I've used several different Recon tools and various things. There's all kinds of different platforms out there, but the product that we have here that we're working with, it doesn't compete with anything that's out there. It really complements the other tools that are out there and it brings everything together. So it allows you to have kind of one big interface where you can dominate your space. You can be really good at your craft and just make sure that you execute at the highest level you possibly can. Are you going to be perfect? No. But if you damn sure try to be perfect, you're going to be a whole lot better than if you don't. So I'm just, thank you for having us on. We got a great team here. Johnny, congratulations to you and, much success for you in 2022. And we look forward to doing it again. And let's kick some ass in 22.
When I was in the business retail, it wasn't because I was so brilliant. It was because I knew the same things other people knew. I just did things other people didn't do. In car business, we don't have a knowing problem. We have a doing problem.
Yeah, 100%.
What haven't we discussed, Johnny?
You know what? I'm surprised it hasn't come up, but let's talk about the customer engagement on our website, right? As Jeremie and Chuck know, if I can keep somebody on my website longer, it's like a relationship, right? You feel more married to it, right? You feel like you've got more, going for you. So I know on our website, people that are clicking on the brochure, it's 17 minutes they're spending on my website, right? So,
that's eternity.
We only keep about 150 to 160 used on our website. I would put that up against anybody that doesn't have Velocity Engage. 17 minutes. Now, if you've got, 1,000 used cars up, it would take that just to look through your inventory. But with that low of an inventory to keep my customers on there for 17 minutes, I think I have to credit a lot of that to Velocity Engage. That's a key component, right, on your, managing your traffic on your website, that time on the site.
Absolutely. So as we wind down, Gage, what haven't we talked about?
I think we've talked about it all. I mean, I think one statement I would like to make, and I hate to keep going back to it, but with the window stickers and the original MSRP information, what we found is, the question isn't, does the dealer need it? They don't any of them ask that. They just need to know who offers it, and it's us. So that's the question. Where can I get all this information? It's not, do I need it? So call us. We'll give it to you.
I've got 2 pages of talking points, and you guys went through all of them. It's fantastic. Kalah, what haven't we talked about? What should we talk about?
I think that, this is like Gage said, something that everybody needs. The Recon process can be a little bit harder of a pill to swallow because it's more process oriented and you got to change people's habits, but it makes it all that more important. And we'll hold your hand through it. We'll come out and train you. So, you need it. We're the best people to do business with. We're going to give it to you everything at a fair price. We have it all in one platform, one login. It doesn't get any easier than that. We've got these great gentlemen online with us, but we've also got 1,000 other dealerships. We have over 1,000 dealerships on the Velocity platform that can attest to this as well. And that's pretty strong for 2 years. And we hope that next year that's another 1,000.
I have one of my signature statements that average people with incredible processes can do incredible results. Yeah. Average people. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is a broadcast of superstars, and I'm so glad you included me in on it. So
yes, thanks for joining.
I made some new friends today, bro. Absolutely. Anything else we need to talk about? I don't see it. I think we've covered the entire subject. Velocity Engage and Recon Velocity, 2 companies. There's the phone number and there's the website. Check it out. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you
y'all.
so much.
Thanks, guys.